watch from far away, but you always knew you'd be the one to work while they all play. And you lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream.
Everybody's still talking about Cody Rhodes, huh? And I can understand it. It's the biggest news story of the entire month. Much more important than what happened on NXT tonight. Bron Breakker defended the NXT Championship against the criminally underrated SANTOS ESCOBAR. How SANTOS ESCOBAR is not on the main roster, I have no fucking idea. Carmelo Hayes defended the North American Championship against Cameron Grimes. The Women's Tag Team Championships were on the line. Nobody gives a shit. And the Men's Dusty Cup Finals. MSK versus the Creed Brothers. And I'm okay with the outcome of this year's Dusty Classic. Also, NXT has a new show. 205 Live is finally dead officially. NXT announces their new show, Level Up, which is taking place on Fridays at 10 p.m. I'm sorry, isn't there another wrestling show on Friday at 10 p.m.? Oh, yeah, that's right. But they're not competition. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I must have misheard. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Vengeance Day. And I'm going to the venue. And I know you guys are waiting for me over there, but I got one question before I get the hell out of here. You know what that question is, man. What the fuck are you guys drinking tonight? I'll see you at the venue.
AEW successful? Why is Tony Khan running his promotion better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are running Monday night and Friday night? Long-term booking.
Guys, thank you so very much for joining me on Off the Script. This is your NXT Vengeance Day post show for February 15th, 2022. I am your host, JD from New York, and this is the OTS venue. Thank you guys for joining me on your Tuesday nights, wherever you may be. Very, very fun show tonight for NXT. Lots of in-ring action. Very good, in fact, in-ring action. Was it enough to take our minds off of the big story and Cody Rhodes this afternoon? The answer is no. The answer is no. No matter if this show was a WrestleMania caliber show, it still wouldn't have measured up to the overall groundbreaking, absolutely tear the community apart news for Cody Rhodes, AEW, and WWE, and this chaos that seems to be happening. I talked about it in Off the Script, episode 413, which was live this afternoon at 2:30. This is actually my second time live today. So if you guys missed that, it is on the homepage right now. It should be right at the top of the homepage. Go and check it out. So if you guys missed the podcast earlier, I was live talking about all of the up-to-date information on Cody Rhodes, and I will have more throughout the week as this story continues to break. NXT tonight, very fun show. Santos Escobar versus Bron Breakker for the NXT Championship. I thought it was a very fun match. Dolph Ziggler's getting involved. Dolph Ziggler's messing around in the NXT bubble. He's got a one-on-one match with Tommaso Ciampa next week on Tuesday night. I don't mind it. He adds that veteran presence down there. Dolph Ziggler, he's an amazing pro wrestler, don't get me wrong. It is just very difficult to get excited about Dolph Ziggler when WWE themselves hasn't really given a shit about Dolph Ziggler since he cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, and seemingly since then, his career trajectory has gone downhill. That was how long ago? Many, many, many moons ago was that Dolph Ziggler cash in Money in the Bank. Great wrestler. I just don't really see the big deal in Dolph Ziggler, or how am I supposed to get excited about Dolph Ziggler wrestling on NXT. It's a funny thing that Tommaso Ciampa went up to the main roster on Monday night to sit down during commentary during a Street Profits and Dirty Dogs tag team match on Raw last night. So we will probably be seeing this more than just what we're about to get next week on Tuesday night. Bron Breakker and Santos Escobar, very fun match. We'll talk about those two guys. Bron Breakker, I'm becoming a fan of more and more week by week. Santos Escobar, criminally underrated. Don't know how this guy does not have championship gold around his waist. And by the end of the night, I think a lot of people in that NXT arena at the Performance Center were actually booing Bron Breakker for beating Santos Escobar. Why were they booing him? I don't know. I have one conclusion, and the only thing I could come up with is the commentators made mention of Eddie Guerrero, and there was a spot in the match tonight where Bron Breakker was on the mat, and Santos Escobar went for the Eddie Frog Splash, missed it, ultimately lost the match. So I'm assuming the crowd was booing because of the correlation to Eddie Guerrero and a specific anniversary that correlates with Eddie Guerrero winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Also on this show tonight, we had Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes. To the moon! Cameron Grimes, who looks ridiculous with that new haircut of his. I don't know what they did, man. They didn't really make him look all that intimidating. The old Cameron Grimes looks somewhat intimidating. This Cameron Grimes looks a little bit too pretty for my liking. Excellent match between Grimes and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is obviously the top prospect in all of WWE right now, or at least one of them. Everybody's so high on Carmelo Hayes. I don't really get the gimmick. I think the gimmick comes off a little bit unnatural and forced. But damn, he's good in the ring. And he went one-on-one with Cameron Grimes tonight. The ladies were in tag team action. Toxic Attraction versus the Aussies, Indi, Hartwell, and Persia, Pirotta. Don't really give a shit about the women's tag team title, so I really won't get into what the match entailed tonight because I just genuinely don't give a shit about the women's tag team championships when I know there are no women's tag teams on NXT, and most of the tag teams in the Dusty Classic are taped together with Scotch tape and forced together because there is no actual division. So we will go over that. Speaking of the Dusty Classic, the men's Dusty Classic came to an end tonight. We had MSK going 2-on-2 against the Creed Brothers, and the Creed Brothers are your 2022 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners. They will get eventually Imperium for those tag team championships. I'm okay with that decision. WWE did waste our times with MSK finding their shaman in Matt Riddle, ultimately to lose the finals of the Dusty Classic. I guess being boys of Triple H and guys that Triple H brought in aren't going to get you too far in this new NXT 2.0. And we got NXT. We got a new show on Friday nights. 205 Live is dead, officially. It was dead for months, for years, actually. And 205 Live now is officially in the grave. The casket's been lowered, the dirt's been shoveled on top, and the tombstone says, rest in peace, 205 Live. It is dead. We now have NXT Level Up. The colors of the show and the color scheme for the logo are just as ridiculous as NXT 2.0. They are definitely taking a very kiddie approach to this new vision of NXT. I don't know whether I'm watching a wrestling show or I'm playing a fucking video game, powering myself through various levels, gaining one-ups as I trek through whatever game I'm playing. NXT Level Up. Doesn't really sound all that interesting, but it will be premiering on Friday night on Peacock at 10 p.m. Being that it's on Peacock, I may actually go out and watch the fucking thing, because how much worse can it be from the NXT that we're watching on Tuesday night? And I heard a lot of good things about maybe the vibe of the show and the commentary team being different. I'll tune in for that first episode on Saturday morning, obviously. I'm not missing Rampage for it. I'll tune into it on Saturday before the Elimination Chamber, and I'll see what all the hype is about for NXT Level Up. I got the new story on that, and we're going to go over all this today on Off the Script here for February 15th, 2022, your official Vengeance Day post-show. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. I only see 300 likes in the chat. This is my second time being live today, man. You guys can't hit the thumbs up for this hardworking individual that's giving you free entertainment? Hit that thumbs up, man. I know Tuesday nights is not really a very popular night on the pro wrestling calendar, but make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, man. We got almost 1,000 people in the chat. Hit that thumbs up. It greatly helps out the video. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out the earlier podcast that did nothing but Cody Rhodes and explain everything about Cody Rhodes leaving officially AEW. Is he going to WWE? Why did he leave AEW? And what I truly think of the entire situation. Go and check that out. It is on the homepage right now. If you guys are content creators, if you guys are musicians, if you guys need layouts, artwork, thumbnails, you know that my boy Salrex is a master of his craft. Salrex is opening up his business once again, full-time. He says this to everybody: I've been doing graphic design work for 11 years, and I'm forever grateful to those I've helped along the way. Grateful to always have JD support and getting better at what I do. There's an unexpected turn in my life that is making me explore new horizons, and even this will not sway me from what I love to do. My Instagram and Twitter DMs are always open. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys and building new business relationships. My prices are fair, and my work never disappoints. Logo design, YouTube revamps, album covers, mixtape covers, t-shirt designs, etc. He accepts cash via Cash App and PayPal. The only Salrex on Instagram and the Salrex on Twitter. If you guys need any work, go and hit up my boy. You guys know the work that he does because you've been seeing it for years on the channel. So make sure you guys go and check out Salrex if you guys need any work done. Make sure you guys check out my sponsor for today's show as well. That is Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. You guys are going to use code JD for your absolutely free sample of the service. Make sure you guys go and check them out. That's BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. And I want to thank them for once again always being a great friend and a sponsor right here on Off the Scripts. And make sure you guys go get your t-shirts, man. That's bonfire.com. Don't forget about the t-shirts. Bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Off the Scripts. Go out there and represent, support, buy a t-shirt, buy a mug, whatever is on the website, man. That is bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Off the Scripts. Let's start with the news, man. I only got this one news article about NXT Level Up. 205 Live is dead. It is absolutely finished. They revamped the show, and now we are getting NXT leveled up. Friday, 10 p.m. on Peacock. PW Insider's reporting that WWE is ending 205 Live, as it should, because there is no Cruiserweight Championship or no Cruiserweight division. So you might as well just get rid of it. I don't know what took them so long to get rid of 205 Live, but here we are. It was first reported a few weeks ago by Dave Meltzer that there was talk of ending the brand, and it appears to be happening now. PW Insider noted that the decision to end the show happened earlier this week, but had been in the works for some time. The writing was on the wall for that show when they began including wrestlers that were over the 205-pound limit. We've seen guys like Odyssey Jones wrestling on 205 Live. That doesn't really lend itself to being 205 pounds. You know, the WWE Cruiserweight division, and this is all I'll say about it, the Cruiserweight Classic is one of WWE's greatest modern-day productions. I loved everything about it. I loved the vibe. I loved the whole environment at Full Sail University. I love that WWE went outside its bubble and got talent from New Japan. I love that WWE brought in talent that we've never seen before that had ties to WWE. Jordan Devlin was in there. He was trained by Finn Balor. We got Zack Sabre Jr. in there. We got Kota Ibushi in that tournament. It was absolutely fucking incredible. Everything about that tournament was incredible. It was even the starting point for Ciampa and Gargano. I remember so vividly that match. I remember Cedric Alexander. Remember him? He's now a part of the buried business, the catering business. On Monday Night Raw, remember him? He was in that tournament. He went one-on-one with Kota Ibushi in one of the later rounds. Fucking absolute match of the year candidate. Rich Swann was in that tournament. Brian Kendrick was a heartfelt story in that tournament. Brian and Mauro Ranallo on commentary. TJP was in that tournament. You know how much great talent was in that fucking tournament, man? Fabian Eichner was in that tournament. He's unrecognizable now compared to then, but he was in that tournament. Lindsay Dorado, I believe, was in there. Grand Metalik, one or the other. I think it was Metalik who was in that tournament. Mauro Ranallo and Brian. Daniel Bryan. Brian Danielson on commentary. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They botched the entire fucking Cruiserweight division. Soon as that tournament was over, Monday Night Raw got exclusive rights to the Cruiserweights. They didn't do a single fucking thing with the entire division. The entire division consisted of maybe 5 or 6 guys, and you've seen them in the same fucking match every single week instead of bringing in Cruiserweights and really having fun with it. Having the title float between Raw and SmackDown, SmackDown and Raw, Raw and NXT, SmackDown and NXT. They put it on Raw, and they never did anything with it. It was part of the everyday routine, and none of it became special anymore. Until Triple H got his hands on it, he brought it back to NXT, made it exclusively an NXT title, and we've seen the likes of Angel Garza and Leo Rush, and guys like that, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Santos Escobar, guys like that came in and gave us some great fucking matches in that division. WWE killed it. As soon as Bruce and Vince took over NXT, they killed the entire concept because they get disgusted when they look at people that are cruiserweights, vanilla midgets, athletes that are small, athletes that are not 6'6" and look like Bron Breakker. They killed the entire thing. Roddy was the Cruiserweight champion, and Carmelo Hayes was the North American champion. They did a unification match, and the title was pretty much canceled at that point, and the North American Championship obviously still remains on Carmelo Hayes. Not a fucking sight since then of the Cruiserweight Championship. Now we got NXT Level Up. Dead. It's quite the shame. From the Cruiserweight Classic to what we see now, dead, man. What a fucking shame the entire process has been. Some of the best matches in WWE in the last 5 years came from that fucking division. Ali, Buddy Murphy, Tony Nese. You guys can fucking go back and watch any of those matches on 205 Live, man. Bangers those guys put out. Cedric was a part of many of them. Bangers. And WWE didn't give a single shit. In place of 205 Live, NXT will be taping Level Up prior to their regular 2.0 show. So I'm assuming they taped right before NXT went live at the Performance Center. This will be a 60-minute show. The first taping happened tonight before Vengeance Day. The end of 205 Live marks the end of another Triple H concept. Dead. Not surprising. A couple of years ago, there were plans for 205 Live to become a touring brand, but that idea never planned out because WWE had Bruce Pritchard take over and Vince McMahon gutted NXT, and those plans were pretty much scrapped. Recently, WWE just filed a trademark for NXT Level Up, and now we're seeing it come to life. Rest in peace, Cruiserweight division. Rest in peace, 205 Live. You will never, the division will be never, and the title will be never seen again in WWE's universe. Dead. Another Triple H concept. Finished. I'm not surprised, and neither should you. NXT tonight. Very, very fun show. Not the best show, but a fun show nonetheless. We got a lot of big-time matches. We got 3 title matches and a steel cage match tonight with the Dusty Classic. It's great. So we got the open of the show. Pete Dunn, Peter Dunn versus my boy Tony D'Angelo. This is a steel cage, or what they described as a weaponized steel cage match. So Pete Dunn was already in the cage. He got no entrance. They did this Vengeance Day hype package at the beginning of the show, and then they showed the steel cage with Pete Dunn in it already. He was doing his poses. His theme music goes off. He gets no entrance at all on NXT tonight. Tony D'Angelo, he came into the building in this fancy, fancy limousine. So he comes into the building and he tips the limo driver and they go right into the match after Tony D'Angelo makes his way into the ring. So right at the start, Pete Dunn attacked D'Angelo. Soon as the bell rang, and he hit him with several weapons that were laying in the ring. And then he tied, I believe at one point in this match, I'll get to it, I don't want to jump ahead, there were everything from steel chairs to tables to paddle sticks, kendo sticks. There was even zip ties in this match. Everything got used in this match. So the first thing that they used was a trash can. That was brought into play first. D'Angelo was fighting back against Pete Dunn, and he hit a Falcon Arrow on top of a garbage can. Dunn went after D'Angelo's fingers early in the match, attacking his hands and doing the finger manipulation, the joint manipulation, which has been pretty much the basis of their feud here. Dunn slammed D'Angelo's hands in a toolbox, which looked absolutely fucking nasty. I would never even think about doing that to my worst enemy, man. That looked brutal. Then he wrapped them in a wrench and stomped on his fingers. Pete Dunn is a fucking lunatic. Dunn then tried to escape the cage, but D'Angelo hit him with a fire extinguisher and froze him with some fire extinguisher shots. And then he suplexed him off the top of the cage, which looked also very good. After this, he tied Pete Dunn's hands behind his back with zip ties. I'm assuming that's what they do in the Italian mafia, right? So Dunn actually managed to get some offense, having his hands tied in zip ties behind his back, which was fucking insane, to be quite honest with you. He landed a headbutt and then looked to lock in head scissors on D'Angelo. D'Angelo slammed out of the hold, and then he got a 2 after a DDT. D'Angelo went for a powerbomb on Dunn into a table, but Dunn wrapped him up in a guillotine choke. So he got out of this move, right? D'Angelo grabbed pliers from the toolbox and cut Dunn's hands free. After this, D'Angelo went for his weapon, a crowbar, which he's been using. That's been his weapon of choice. But Dunn caught him and powerbombed him through a table that was laying horizontally across the turnbuckle in the corner. After that, Dunn went for his weapon of choice, which was a cricket bat. He took the bat and broke it over D'Angelo's back. It made a very satisfying sound in front of that PC crowd. Dunn then picked him up, delivered a bitter end, only got a 2. D'Angelo then hit Dunn with a low blow, Fisherman Buster, which was his finishing move. He goes for a cover, only gets a 2 count. Dunn kicks out. He grabs the crowbar that was hidden by the ring apron, and he hit D'Angelo with it. He then hit a second bitter end on the table debris that was broken earlier in the match, and he got the 1, 2, 3. Pete Dunne gets the victory over Tony D'Angelo. Now, I've seen a lot of people complaining about this on social media. Why would Tony D lose to Pete Dunne here? Tony D, how many matches does he have? He's got about a dozen matches or so in NXT, if I'm not mistaken. It may be 1 or 2 more than that. Pete Dunne is going to be a mainstay on this show. Pete Dunne's also a babyface. So Pete Dunne is not really going to be challenging for the NXT Championship anytime soon. I honestly think that he should have had his eyes set on the North American Championship well before all of this even happened with Tony D'Angelo. Pete Dunne versus Carmelo Hayes is the match that they're going to end up going with. It's a great babyface versus heel dynamic there, and that could be a money match and a money feud if given the time to be built up going into TakeOver, or not really TakeOver. It used to be TakeOver. NXT, Stand and Deliver. I don't want to disrespect the TakeOver name by claiming that Stand and Deliver is TakeOver. No, it's not TakeOver. Last year it was TakeOver. This year it's not TakeOver. Pete Dunne versus Carmelo Hayes will be the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver. Tony D'Angelo will eventually get there. He's not there yet. For the guy to have 12 matches or so, he looks fucking great in the ring. Let him continue to get better. Let him continue to get out there in front of the fans and continue to mold his craft. He will be fine. Tony D'Angelo is eventually going to end up with that North American Championship. I am certain of that. So don't rush him. Everything's coming along. Breaker is coming along at a nice pace. Tony D'Angelo's coming along at a nice pace. Carmelo Hayes is coming along at a nice pace. These are 3 big-time prospects on the brand. There's no need to rush anything. And I honestly think with Carmelo Hayes and how high management is on Carmelo Hayes, having Hayes go over Pete Dunne is quite the accolade for the 27-year-old. So that's where they're going with that. And this was a fun steel cage match. Nothing overly memorable, but it's a nice introductory for Tony D'Angelo into the steel cage realm. Very fun match. Really nothing overly, I would say, memorable about the steel cage match between Tony D and Pete Dunne. We cut to a video package of Cora Jade sleeping in bed alone. And she's there, and her alarm goes off. Raquel Gonzalez is calling Cora Jade on her cell phone. Jade says it's 5 a.m. What do you want? Gonzalez can't believe she's still asleep. You want to win the Dusty Classic, right? Get up. So Jade gets dressed. She sees Gonzalez outside of her house, and she's ready to train. So they go to the gym. Gonzalez tells her it'll take 3 wins to win this tournament, so let's get to work. They start training. Cora Jade is taking it very lackadaisical. At one point, she's eating a puffed pastry while Raquel Gonzalez is training. She wanted to take a break to have breakfast, being that Raquel woke her up at 5 a.m. One would be hungry at that hour. So Raquel Gonzalez knocked the pastry out of her mouth and said that's not a part of the plan. So we then see them running in a park, doing more exercises. Gonzalez keeps pushing Jade and says that they'll have to do this all over again tomorrow. The Women's Dusty Classic starts next week. So they look to be an odds-on favorite in this tournament. And from what I remember reading not too long ago, Raquel Gonzalez was supposed to be brought up, or at least there was plan to call Raquel Gonzalez up to the main roster. But that didn't happen because they wanted her to remain in NXT so that they can get through this Dusty Classic with Cora Jade, because there really wasn't many women on the active NXT roster. So this Dusty Classic may be it for Raquel Gonzalez. But they will definitely be a team to keep an eye on in the Women's Dusty Classic, which starts next week. Vic and Wade were on the entranceway, or in the aisleway, and they were hyping the Women's Dusty Classic beginning next week. They send it to Mackenzie Mitchell, who's in the crowd with the trophy for the Men's Dusty Cup. She talks about the Men's Dusty Classic final for tonight, and we see a video earlier in the day of the Creed brothers and Malcolm Bivens cutting a promo on why they think they will win the finals of this year's Dusty Classic. They are confident that they will win the tournament, they say, because blah, blah, blah. It's Diamond Mine forever. We get a promo from MSK, their opponents. They are confident they will make history tonight by winning the Dusty Cup for a second year in a row. And I legitimately thought that they were going to be the ones to win it. I was wrong. Matt Riddle, I guess, wasn't as good of a shaman as they thought Matt Riddle was. We saw a video of Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes arriving. He's got his match with Cameron Grimes coming up a little bit later in the show. We move on to the from the North American Championship to the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. This is Indi Hartwell and Persia Pirotta versus Toxic Attraction. This is Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Nothing overly memorable about this as well. The women's tag team situation is very, very unimportant and lazy to me. I don't care. I don't really care about Toxic Attraction as some do. I don't really care about the women's division on NXT because I feel like it's been gutted too much and there really isn't one standout performer in the division outside of Io Shirai. And she's not even the number one priority in the division. I don't care. The women's division right now may be the weakest point of the entire show. And that's a huge fucking blow to what Triple H wanted to do with the women's division and the women's revolution. Triple H always made the women his number one priority. Always cared for the women's division. With Bruce and Johnny Laurinaitis there now, and everything going through Bruce Pritchard, you can see how the women's division has deteriorated since the start of NXT 2.0. Nobody matters. Nobody is over. Nobody feels important. And everything about the division feels rushed and weak. I don't care about it. I don't. I respect Mandy Rose for going down there and reinventing herself. I appreciate Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction and what Mandy Rose's influence with the gimmick has done to Gigi Dolan, but I don't give a shit about the women's division, and I think I'm not alone in that assessment. So Mandy Rose was there with Toxic Attraction. She distracted Hartwell. Indi had spilled to the outside. The ref caught Mandy Rose putting her hands on Indi Hartwell. He immediately kicked Mandy Rose out of the ringside area and sent her to the back. Hartwell started to make a comeback right as the show came back from a commercial break, which was promoted as limited commercial breaks tonight. She then made a hot tag to Persia Pirotta, who took out both JC Jane and Gigi Dolan with a double Samoan drop. Hartwell and Dolan are the legal women in this match. Jane and Pirotta ended up brawling on the outside. Jane tossed Pirotta into the steel steps, taking her out of the match completely. She then grabbed Hartwell's leg as she was going for her springboard elbow from the apron into the ring. After this, Toxic Attraction hit a high-low double-team move on Indi Hartwell, and that was enough for the 1, 2, 3. Like I said, very unimportant. Nothing really mattered here. And the Toxic Attraction duo of JC Jane and Gigi Dolan are still your tag team champions. I never thought Indi Hartwell and Persia Pirotta were going to be the ones to take down Toxic Attraction. I don't think Toxic Attraction are losing those tag team championships to anybody anytime soon. So I don't know who's going to end up taking those titles off of Toxic Attraction. I don't even think it would be anybody in the women's division. I just don't know who's even in the fucking tournament. The only team that I see in the tournament, from my eyes, and who WWE's paired together, it looks like Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade, possibly, or Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. That makes for a decent tag team. They're not really a tag team, but Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai, how do you bet against a team like that in the Women's Dusty Classic? How do you bet against a team like that going up against Gigi Dolan and JC Jane for the Women's Tag Team Championships? WWE, man, the masters of just putting shit together, none of it really matters. The whole Women's Dusty Classic shouldn't even be happening this year. It is your fault that you're in the situation that you're in with so many teams in this tournament not being legit teams. It sucks. It really does. And so does the women's division. Wendy Chu, the female WWE version of Orange Cassidy. She was walking backstage, and she's looking for a partner for the Women's Dusty Classic. She sees Dakota Kai there. Dakota Kai is doing this gimmick where she's schizophrenic. And Wendy Chu was walking with Amari Miller, and Wendy Chu asked Amari Miller to be her partner for the Dusty Classic. Amari Miller tells her, well, I already promised somebody else I'd be their partner. Wendy Chu didn't really like that. Now she's got to find her own partner if she wants to be in the Dusty Classic. She sees Dakota Kai sitting on a production crate, and Dakota Kai is talking to herself and talking to an imaginary friend. I don't know what they've done to Dakota Kai, but if they think this shit is going to get over with Dakota Kai, if they think this is the best direction for Dakota Kai, I honestly look at it as pathetic. Dakota Kai is so good at what she does, and she was great as a heel. Now they're turning her into a schizophrenic fucking lunatic who talks to imaginary people. This is what happens when somebody works under Bruce Pritchard. They go fucking crazy. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai, a possible tag team. I don't see it. I don't even think WWE has all 8 teams for this tournament. I guarantee you we go into next week and they don't have brackets made for the fucking tournament. We just get matches. And WWE is going to find teams as this thing mows along. Ridiculous. Grayson Waller. He's out there in the parking lot of the Performance Center with his big muscle, Sangha. They're out in the parking lot, and there's 2 police officers there with them. Waller is apparently conspiring with Sangha to set LA Knight up so he will be arrested for violating this restraining order that Grayson Waller has given LA Knight. Waller walks off with the cops, and they walk into the building. So this entire thing with Grayson Waller and LA Knight, he comes out, he's in the ring, and he's out there in front of the crowd. Huge babyface reaction for LA Knight. They're singing along to his theme music and chanting LA Knight to the beat of his theme music, which I think is great. LA Knight is money. LA Knight should be on the main roster. I don't know how you don't make money with LA Knight on the main roster. Hopefully this is it for him. He puts over Grayson Waller, and we see him after WrestleMania on the main roster, on SmackDown. Let's get it done. So LA Knight comes out. Before he even says anything, out comes Grayson Waller with the police officers. Waller points Knight out to the police officers, and he says, that's the man who's been obsessing over me for months. It didn't have to be this way, he says. Fans are chanting, asshole, to Grayson Waller. Waller and the officers enter the ring. Waller shows us a video of recent happenings between him and LA Knight. Waller says Knight has caused him emotional trauma. So he did what he had to do and got a restraining order, but Knight put hands on him, and now he can't sleep because he's full of anxiety. This is what happens when somebody works under Bruce Pritchard. You go through emotional trauma. Now you know how we feel every Friday night, Mr. Waller. Waller calls on the officers to arrest that man. Arrest LA Knight. because they've seen all the evidence. So they start approaching LA Knight. He takes the microphone and says he knows he has the right to remain silent, but he also has the right to explain his side. So let me talk to you, he says. Knight has some video evidence of his own. He shows us footage from 2 weeks ago where Waller dropping him at ringside as he faced off with Sanga during a match with Joe Gacy. Knight reads the restraining order. He says, I read this from top to bottom, up and down. And he says in the restraining order, it says Waller can't touch Knight, not just Knight can't touching him. Knight says this means the paper isn't worth anything anymore. The officers leave the ring, and Waller pleads, saying he tripped on the barricade and never actually touched LA Knight. Waller asks if this means Knight can do whatever he wants now. Yes. He turns around, he goes to clothesline Knight. Knight misses it, and he does a clothesline of his own, takes him down, lefts and rights, stomping away at Grayson Waller in the corner. Sanga comes out to the ringside area, but Knight knocks him off the ring apron to the floor. Knight then sent Waller out of the ring into big man Sanga's arms. Next week, we're getting LA Knight versus Grayson Waller. Seems decent. Seems decent. Don't really give a shit about it. Nothing that's going to make me get up and, oh my God, I can't wait to watch NXT next week. LA Knight is due for the main roster. That's all I care. They're clearly throwing all these veterans in front of Grayson Waller and trying to get him over. Is he going to be over? Is he going to be at that level that WWE thinks he's going to be at? I don't know. I don't really see much as far as Grayson Waller. Remember when he kicked Johnny Gargano out of NXT and they did that whole attack with Johnny Gargano on his final night in NXT? Did they build off of anything that happened that night? Is Grayson Waller a more devious and dastardly heel coming out of that situation with Johnny Gargano? Another failed, missed opportunity. He doesn't feel any different than that night at all. He feels exactly the same. So explain to me why I should care about Grayson Waller. All I look at when I see Grayson Waller is somebody that's going to replace The Miz on the main roster when The Miz ends up hanging up the boots. He's a little bit better than The Miz in the ring, but he's got that Miz-like, celebrity-like, social media, going viral, TikTok vibe. Not really all that impressive to me. And the ring gear sucks. Not really all that interested in Grayson Waller, but I'm more interested in LA Knight making his main roster debut because the guy is absolutely fucking money. You want him to play a heel? He'll play a heel. You want him to be a babyface? He'll play a babyface. There's no way you can't make money with LA Knight on SmackDown. Let's get it done. We got these Cowboys Smoking Guns 2.0. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. They're at a local bar having cold beverages. Jensen says his Valentine's Day date with Kaden Carter was great. Briggs says Jensen still owes him money. I guess he spotted him the money to take Carter out on the date. Jensen then recalls how he and Carter talked about the Dusty Classic and some other stuff. Then he drove Carter home and they hugged at the end of the night. Jensen says Carter said something so cute and that he's like a little brother to her. So Briggs says, bro, that's not a good thing. Briggs then calls the bartender over, who's this very pretty lady, and she asks what happened with the date, who says this is her parents' place. Apparently, this female bartender, this is her parents' place, and she just picks up shifts now and then. So the bartender and Briggs try to break it to Jensen that he's been friend-zoned by Kaden Carter, and he yells out a huge scream in frustration. There you go, bro. You should have knew that right from the word go. He failed. He failed with Caden Carter, man. Now I'm more interested to see if Josh Briggs is doing anything with Casey Catanzaro, being that she's now available. And what is with all these women on NXT's roster, man? Why is NXT seemingly hooking up men and women everywhere? It's like everybody's got a fucking girlfriend. Like all these men and women are couples on NXT television. Has anybody found that to be oddly fucking just ridiculous? I find it to be very bizarre. I'm not watching some fucking MTV reality show. I'm watching a pro wrestling show. Once upon a time, this was the fucking hub, the fucking starting point for professional wrestling in WWE. Now I can't tell the difference between this and fucking Real World. Is that even still a thing? Very, very lame. It's like an NXT orgy on 2.0. What's going on? I don't get it. So, Indi, Hartwell, and Persia Pirotta, which this is going to explain my point even further. Indi, Hartwell, and Persia Pirotta are backstage reacting to their title match loss to Toxic Attraction. Indi says it was all her fault, but Persia disagrees and says they will have another chance in the Dusty Tag Team Classic. Dexter Lumis walked up. Indi Hartwell hugs him. Persia says hello, but he's not thrilled to see Persia. Indi and Lumis leave. Duke Hudson walks in, and he looks on as Lumis and Indi leave. Duke takes Persia's hand, and they leave together, and she's looking at him with those very sensual eyes. Looking at him up and down. Everybody's in a fucking couple. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Maybe I'm too old for this fucking show. Tommaso Ciampa's backstage. He's talking about how he's built this brand. This is his home. Some people are out there still acting like this is just some minor league farm system. TC, listen, I love you, bro. I love you to death. You're one of my favorites. You and Johnny, greatest of all time. But listen, bro, it is a minor league system. That's what Bruce and Vince turned it into, bro. I'm sorry. You may be Gandalf-looking in appearance. You may be the elder statesman in NXT, but listen, bro. You know, the gray in your beard, man, I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe some of that hair dye that Vince wanted you to fucking color your beard with, maybe some of that seeped into your fucking brain, bro. This is a minor league system. NXT is now a minor league system. I don't know where he's coming off saying this isn't a minor league system. They think they're better than him. Dolph Ziggler thinks he's better than him. Tommaso Ciampa says Ziggler has mistaken his loyalty for fear. Ciampa says it's not about that tonight. It's about SANTOS ESCOBAR and Bron Breakker for the NXT title. The same title he wants, the same title Ziggler wants. He calls it quite the predicament. He assures Ziggler will be watching, and he will definitely be watching because this is his home. I didn't know Dolph Ziggler wanted the NXT title. What makes him viable for the NXT title? Can anybody just walk into NXT and claim that they want the NXT title and then get it? I don't get it. Why Dolph Ziggler? Why is Dolph Ziggler getting an NXT title opportunity? Why does he want the NXT title? Did he mention why? Maybe it was one of those NXTs I did not watch. Does anybody know why Dolph Ziggler wants the NXT title? I like what Dolph is doing with his beard, by the way, man. Looks good. Looks good on him. North American Championship, Cameron Grimes. To the moon. Cameron Grimes versus Carmelo Hayes. This was an excellent match. I guess I don't really get the hype around Carmelo Hayes outside of his in-ring ability. I feel like the gimmick is forced. I feel like the gimmick is a little unnatural. It really just comes off to me. I may be the only one, man. I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. I honestly think Carmelo Hayes hasn't found who he is yet. It almost comes off as if he's in in the infancy stages of this gimmick, and he doesn't really know who he is yet. And I truly hope that he gets there, because what he's doing now in ring is great. I see it. I love it. He's gotten better since the first day I saw him on NXT. But I don't really get that he believes in himself as far as this gimmick is concerned. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm feeling about Carmelo Hayes. Cameron Grimes, I don't really get the change aesthetically for Cameron Grimes. The only thing that I could really attribute it to is Vince McMahon doesn't like hairy guys. And then he had Cameron Grimes go and cut his hair and shave his chest hair. Cameron Grimes of old looked intimidating. Cameron Grimes looked like a gritty, fucking down south pro wrestler. Because Vince McMahon didn't want that. He wanted to pretty him up. He doesn't look all that intimidating anymore. I don't like the change. The subtle changes to Cameron Grimes. I'm not a fan. Great in-ring worker. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see how the gimmick change and the whole appearance change of Cameron Grimes, those little subtle changes are very noticeable. I'm not a fan. So they started off going back and forth here, grappling, slowing the pace, feeling each other out. Grimes hit a big back body drop, got distracted by Trick Williams. You know, another guy I don't really get. He's only out there to aid Cameron Grimes in cheating. And I think Cameron Grimes is way too good for that. Heels don't need to cheat every single time to win. Cameron Grimes, or Carmelo Hayes rather, Carmelo Hayes is better than having to resort to Trick Williams helping him win. I don't like the fact that WWE always pairs these heels together, and they got Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, and always a heel. He's got to cheat to win. I don't get it. We go to commercial. Williams hit Grimes behind the referee's back. Grimes began to make a comeback. He hit a big slam, big side slam for a 2 count. Hayes then hits a lung blower and a springboard clothesline for 2. Grimes then got a near fall off of a super kick. Williams tried to distract Grimes again, but Hayes went into attack from behind off the distraction. Grimes sidestepped him, gave Carmelo Hayes a poison rana. Grimes then kicked Williams and delivered a huge flying crossbody for a 2 count. Excellent near fall. Grimes called for his double foot stomp, but Hayes rolled out of the ring. Grimes followed and went to give him the double foot stomp, the cave-in on the floor, but Williams pushed Hayes out of the way, and he, Trick Williams, ate the cave-in, took it himself. Hayes then tossed Grimes into the barricade. Back in the ring we go. Hayes locked Grimes up in a crossface. Grimes went for the ropes. Williams pulled the bottom rope away from Cameron Grimes. Grimes ended up countering the hold into a pinning combination, which was dangerously close to a 3 count. Short after this, Hayes whiplashed Grimes' neck off the ropes, hit a big diving axe kick off the top rope for the 1, 2, 3, and Carmelo Hayes retains the North American Championship. I don't really get why we need the heels to cheat to win. I think the one thing I can honestly say is that Trick Williams hasn't gotten caught yet. We saw Mandy Rose in the open try to aid Toxic Attraction. She got caught immediately, and all she did was throw Indi Hartwell back into the ring. There was no resembling of an attack there. Trick Williams actively tries to get into the match, tries to interfere, and he never gets caught. Maybe that's an ongoing gimmick for him, helping his boy win and never gets caught. I'm going to wait the day when he finally gets caught and Carmelo Hayes loses that North American Championship. Doesn't really make Hayes look like a credible champion if he can't win matches on his own and he's got help from Trick Williams every fucking time he's got to defend the title. Let's try and move away from that. Let's try and have Trick Williams compliment Carmelo Hayes just a little bit. Not saying he can't help his boy cheat because he's a heel, but it doesn't need to happen every single time in a big match situation. Kaylee Ray was backstage. She was smashing things with a baseball bat. Kaylee Ray is me during Friday Night SmackDown. Just bashing shit all over the place. It's what I wish I could do to get my anger out after a terrible Friday Night SmackDown. Io Shirai is there. She asked Io if she wanted to smash things with the baseball bat. She says, nope, that's too good for me, or I'm too good for that. This led to both of them eventually breaking shit together. Zoe Stark walks in, Io's old partner, injured still. Shirai needs a tag team partner for the Dusty Classic. It looks like she's chosen Kay Lee Ray. If they don't win this tournament, I don't know what the fuck NXT management is doing. If that is the team, if that is Io's partner, I don't see why they won't win the tournament. The Creed brothers. This is Brutus and Julius Creed with Malcolm Bivens against Nash Carter and Wes Lee. This is the finals of the Dusty Classic. Malcolm Bivens came out with a John Cena-like workout towel that said, never give up. He turned it around. And on the flip side, it says, nah, you should. Malcolm Bivens is fantastic. This was a very good match. A lot shorter than I expected it to be, but it was a very good match nonetheless. We all know how good MSK is. MSK's been good the first day they walked into NXT, and Triple H pushed them to the tag team titles almost immediately. I really want to focus on the Creed brothers, man. The Creed brothers are getting there. They are excellent. On day one, and I felt this way about a lot of people, man. I felt this way about Bron Breakker. I felt this way about Von Wagner. I felt this way about a lot of different people we were seeing for the first time when NXT 2.0 was launched. The Creed brothers were two guys that we saw, and we didn't have any idea who they were. Like, who are they? Why are they on TV? Clearly something is seen in these guys by management. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on TV already. They didn't look the part. They didn't feel the part. They weren't really dressed in matching gear. They didn't feel like a tag team. Then as the months go on and we see them here tonight, I'm watching these guys progress weekly. I'm watching these guys get better weekly. I'm watching these guys finally get matching ring gear. They look like a fucking tag team now. They're moving better in the ring. They're executing moves a lot better in the ring. I'm a big fan of the Creed brothers, man. These guys are going to be the closest thing to the Steiner brothers that we've had in NXT or in WWE since the glory days of Rick and Scott Steiner. Not as charismatic. Not going to take that away from them yet. Maybe they get to that point and they're overly charismatic. But right now, they have the makings of a great tag team in WWE. They are fantastic. And I don't really have any hope for tag teams. That's the one downside about this. I don't have any hope for tag teams in WWE. What is the point in succeeding as a tag team, knowing that WWE's tag team division is the worst in all of pro wrestling? That's what I don't understand. So I want to like them, but I don't want to go all the way on them because they're in a division that WWE generally doesn't care about. Unless WWE may break them up before then. This is the time that they'll be a tag team, and then WWE will eventually split them away. Maybe they see two main event guys in Julius and Brutus Creed. I don't know. But they've gotten a lot better, man. A lot better. I'm enjoying their work weekly. So that's something that I really enjoy watching. That's what I love most about the old NXT. Seeing people that we didn't really know on TV getting better weekly. I really appreciate that. So, in the early parts of this match, they were going back and forth, exchanging offense. The Creed brothers took advantage, knocked both members of MSK to the outside. We go to commercial break. We got a commercial break, and there was this big submission hold, I believe by Brutus, on one of the guys in MSK. So Wes Lee made the hot tag to Nash Carter. He goes to hit a snap German suplex on Brutus, a series of kicks on both Creed brothers. He then hit a beautiful senton on Julius. Lee tagged in, delivered a beautiful diving corkscrew senton right on top of Julius as well. MSK kept up the attack with some double team moves flying all over the place. The Creed brothers turned things around here. Brutus took out Lee with a push out to the ring. Meanwhile, Julius caught a tope attempt from Carter and gave him a spine buster out to the floor. He rolled him back into the ring. gave him a big clothesline, got the pin, and that was pretty much it. A huge clothesline by Julius Creed. Almost took his head off. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. The Creed brothers and Malcolm Bivens win the Dusty Classic, and they went up into the crowd and stood next to the trophy, celebrating with confetti falling down upon them in the fans. Good stuff. I'm okay with them winning. I really thought MSK, and this tournament was built around MSK, being that they brought Matt Riddle in to be the shaman. I thought they were going to get the shot at Imperium, but it looks like the Creed brothers, over as baby faces, may be going up against Imperium at NXT Stand and Deliver, and we may be looking at new NXT Tag Team Champions. That's the way I see it. There's no reason to not give them the Tag Team Championships. They are over as fuck in front of this audience. I love Imperium, but you see how WWE is doing things in NXT. They're pushing their young stars. The old guard is using, or WWE rather, is using the old guard to usher in the new era. Ciampa did it for Breaker, right? Carmelo Hayes won the North American Championship in a unification match with Roderick Strong. We got Pete Dunne now getting ready to put over Carmelo Hayes. I don't know who else is left for WWE to use of the old guard. LA Knight's going to put over Grayson Waller. Imperium is going to put over the Creed brothers. It's just the way things are being done in WWE. My worry is Walter. That's my concern. Walter challenged, and we'll get to it in a second because it was literally next. Walter is eyeing championship gold. I don't know what that means. I don't know who he's targeting. But the only thing I could see is Walter versus Bron Breakker. That's the money match. Bron Breakker's going to need an opponent. He's going to need an opponent for Stand and Deliver. Is it going to be Dolph Ziggler? Do they wait on the Walter feud? I don't know. I hope to God not. I really hope that WWE doesn't use Walter or Gunther to put over Bron Breakker. That would be kind of sad, if I'm being brutally honest with you. I don't want to see that. We got Imperium. Fans kept chanting Walter at Gunther because the ring announcer messed up his name. WWE has quite the dilemma on their hands. Everywhere Gunther goes, there will be Walter chants. I don't get it. The name change, still completely unnecessary. He corrected the ring announcer. It's not Gunther, it's Gunther. They congratulated the Creed brothers on winning the Dusty Cup, but said they wouldn't be ready to face them for the titles. Gunther then said he'll be watching the NXT Championship match between Bron Breakker and SANTOS ESCOBAR. I would take a match with Gunther and either one of those guys, to be quite honest with you. So, he's talking about the World Championship. Obviously, he wants the World Championship now. And he said, Bartel and Eichner have brought honor to this great sport. But it's now time to set his eyes on either one of those two men. Bartel goes on about how they are not prepared, the Creed brothers, to endure the misery and the suffering it takes to get to the top. So all of a sudden, after Walter says he's going to be eyeing the World Championship match, Solo Sikoa comes out to the crowd. He comes out down the aisle. He's walking down the aisleway. Fans are chanting Uso, Uso. At one point, they were chanting USA because of Imperium. So Solo says he doesn't give a damn about the mat being sacred because on the island, we have to climb the ladder, find the biggest and baddest dude, then smack the taste out of his mouth. That's exactly what Solo is about to do. He jumps on the ring apron, stares down Imperium. He doesn't care how Gunther says his name. He's about to wipe the ring with the ring general and make him his bitch. There's that B word again. Got to throw the word bitch around to really up the ante when it comes to cutting the promo. Gunther stares down Solo. He holds back Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, and Solo backs off. This sounds like a fun match to me, man. Gunther versus Solo Sikoa. Sounds like a fun match to me, man. Sign me up. Sign me up. We got a new vignette from Nikita Lyons. She says her dad once talked to her before one of his gigs and told her to quit beating people up because it's easy to push them away. And told her that there was a situation here where she was put on earth to bring people together. And the rest was history. So we see Nikita Lyons dancing and rapping and kickboxing and working out. She's a jack of all trades, apparently. She says the feeling of crushing a dance routine can only be compared to landing a knockout blow in the ring. She's a whole lot of woman who is ready to do a whole lot of whooping. She's not going to hide it, deny it, or apologize for it. Next week, you better watch out for this Lions roar. God, can they get any more cheesy with these fucking gimmicks and cheesy with the dialogue? Really? I don't know who she is, where she came from, how good she is, if she's ready for TV. I don't know anything about her. We'll find out next week, I guess. Hopefully she delivers, because the women's division right now could certainly use a fucking kick in the ass. I will tell you that. Mackenzie Mitchell was backstage with Dolph Ziggler. He talks about Tommaso Ciampa being on Raw last night and says Ciampa is the pulse of NXT. And next week he stops that pulse, and any chance Ciampa has of becoming NXT champion, Ziggler goes on about kicking down the door of Ciampa's home next week and says he will be watching tonight's main event closely. Speaking of the main event, that was legitimately up next. Bron Breakker versus SANTOS ESCOBAR for the NXT Championship, your main event of Vengeance Day 2022. SANTOS ESCOBAR made a ring entrance. Nothing special about his ring entrance. Bron Breakker got an over-the-top ring entrance. There was this vignette where Breakker was standing in front of a huge Vengeance Day logo somewhere in some empty garage. He lit a match, and the entire thing behind him was set ablaze. He walked out to the ring. So they make their ring entrances. The announcements are made. The bell rings. And Breakker versus SANTOS ESCOBAR here for the NXT Championship. So he knocked Escobar, did Breakker, over with a shoulder block. Escobar got back into the match with a beautiful, and I mean absolutely beautiful, picture-perfect dropkick. Breakker then regained the advantage after the dropkick, hit a big delayed vertical suplex, followed by a lariat and a backbreaker. Joaquin Wilde of Legado jumped onto the ring apron, distracting the champion. Escobar knocked Breakker off the ring and landed his tope, which was beautiful. This led to Escobar just getting in a nice, consistent flurry of offense. Escobar was wearing Bron Breakker down. Eventually, he made a babyface comeback. He hit big punches, shoulder blocks, got back into it. Mendoza and Wilde both jumped onto the ring apron, but Breakker took them both out. Elektra Lopez then jumps onto the ring apron and distracted the referee. Dolph Ziggler came out of the crowd, out of nowhere, ran in, delivered a super kick to Bron Breakker. Escobar went for the cover. Absolutely beautiful near fall for SANTOS ESCOBAR. Awesome stuff. This upset Ziggler. He was throwing a temper tantrum on the outside. Ziggler then tried to get back into the ring. Tommaso Ciampa was out there, pulled him outside. They brawled on the outside. Escobar hit a tornado DDT. He went up for the Eddie Guerrero frog splash, missed it. Breakker hit a beautiful spear, pulled his straps down, gorilla pressed him into a power slam, got the pin. 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Bron Breakker retains the NXT Championship, and that is your Vengeance Day special for NXT 2.0. Fun show, nothing overly memorable, some decent in-ring action, but it's NXT, folks. It's NXT. It's not really generating any buzz, any interest. There are things to like about it, like I usually say every single time I do these reviews. There are things to like about it, but it's just not generating any interest whatsoever. You really turned everybody off with what you did to the brand. Don't expect those people to come back and embrace the new talent that you're pushing and the new vibe of the show. People miss the old NXT dearly. It could be a good show, but never will be accepted again. We're going to go over the Super Chats in just a little bit, guys. But I want to thank you for joining me on your Tuesday nights right here on Off the Script. Today, sponsored by my great friends over at Blue Chew. I know you guys know that confidence can take you far in life, man. I'm confident every time I come on here, man. That's what generates the interest of the show. I'm confident in my delivery. I'm confident in what I say. But it also could take you far in life, man. When you feel confident, you're at your best. Especially when it comes time to stepping up to the plate. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is a unique online service that provides the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets. And it comes at a fraction of the cost. You guys can take them anytime, day or night. You guys can plan ahead, be ready whenever that opportunity arises. And the process is very simple. You go to BlueChew.com, you sign up, you consult with one of their licensed online medical providers, and once you are approved, you're going to receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office. No awkward conversations. No waiting in line at the pharmacy. And Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, prepared and shipped direct to your door in a very, very discreet package. So if you guys can benefit from the extra confidence when it's time to perform, why not give Blue Chew a try, man? They talk about lasting impressions, right? Or first impressions. They talk about first impressions. What about having a lasting impression? So we got a special deal for everybody today, man. Blue Chew is free when you use code JD at checkout. All you have to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. That's BlueChew.com, promo code JD to receive your first month free. And I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Script. Let's get into these Super Chats, man. Right at the top, we got Tony Brown with a $9.99 and a $4.99. I want to join a VIP section. Your hyperlink doesn't work. Seriously, I'm trying, JD. Tony, all you have to do, brother, is go underneath the video player, next to the subscribe button. You're going to see join. Click join. It works from the join button, brother. Do it. Thank you very much, man. Paul Van Tassel with a $10 in Super Chat. 18 years ago on this day, Eddie Guerrero wins his first and only WWE title against Brock Lesnar at No Way Out. And Jesse, give me and JD some Screwball peanut butter whiskey. I think Jesse's off tonight, brother. I don't even know who's bartending in the venue tonight. Who is it? I don't know. It may be free reign, man. Pour your own beer. That's why people were booing Bron Breakker, man. Eddie, and the anniversary of him winning the WWE title against Brock Lesnar, Santos Escobar paid homage to that tonight in the match with Bron Breakker, going for the Eddie Frog Splash. He missed it and then lost. Christian with a $49.99 Super Chat. Can anyone beat Bron Breakker? Yeah. It's going to be Von Wagner. You heard it here first. Christian with a $4.99 and a $9.99 Super Chat. I like Tiffany Stratton. She is so hot. Mid. Tiffany Stratton, mid. But we all have our preferences, Christian. That's all you, brother. It's all you. Angel with a 2-month membership. Thank you for the recommitment, man. Cody is making a huge mistake going to WWE. He will be wasted after a few months. We don't know where he's going. Once it's confirmed, then I will make my assumption. Yes, it would be career suicide if Cody Rhodes goes to WWE. I just can't wrap my head around him, and nothing makes sense about it. Nothing. Cam G becomes a new member. Thank you, brother. What are you drinking? Also, Cam G with 2 $20 super chats. I'm back and glad to be in the venue. Sorry, JD, there was a lot going on. I've missed a lot of content of yours. Got to catch up on it. NXT was solid tonight. Best special so far. Much love. Keep up the good work. OTS for life. Also, JD, if you get the chance, I'd like to show you my wrestling content. I'm on TikTok. My profile is WrestleFanatic0. You're an inspiration to the IWC, and you definitely inspire me. Thank you. Keep doing you. Thank you, Cam G. I appreciate that, brother. I check out your TikTok, bro, but I don't actually have a TikTok page. I tried it once and deleted it. It's not my type of scene. Derek Anawahi with a $2 super chat. And then he follows up with a $20 super chat. I want you to go back to Luigi's Mansion and Mario Kart, Oos. Derek, we may be jumping on Mario Kart. They're releasing 48 new maps over the course of the year. Remakes of all the earlier Mario Kart games. So you may be seeing me on there again, man. Eric Newton with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, wondering if I could get a birthday shout-out. Turning 36 at midnight. And want to celebrate with the chat. I'll have a blue moon with orange. Everybody in the chat that's still in the venue, man. Let's give Eric Newton some birthday cake emojis, man. He's turning 36 in about 11 minutes. Happy birthday, Eric. And Furious Nation becomes a member for 5 months. Thank you for the recommitment to the VIP club, brother. What are you drinking tonight? What is up, JD? I don't know, man. Every time I do NXT, I regret doing NXT because nobody gives a shit about NXT. I gotta find something else to do, man. Feel like I waste my time coming on here, man. I thought it was gonna be a big night. Vengeance Day, big special, title matches, a steel cage match, the Dusty Finals. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Now I'm gonna hop on Destiny, and I'm gonna grind and get ready for the Witch Queen. Ahmed Yusuf with a $4.99 super chat. JD, what's worse? SmackDown 2019-2020 or SmackDown 2022? Absolutely 2022. Furious Nation with a $20 super chat. How you doing, JD? I know I haven't been super chatty lately because of this new job I've had for a month, but I hope you had a good birthday last week. Furious, I had a very, very enjoyable birthday, man. Nice and simple, nice and relaxing, bro. That's all one could ask for. Turning 40 years old. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by, man. Listen, I know nobody gives a fuck about NXT, but I figured I'd do it because it was a special tonight, Vengeance Day. And still, nobody gave a shit. But I'll be live. I'll be live tomorrow. Dynamite. I may not be without Jesse because apparently it's Jesse's birthday tomorrow. Fun fact, Jesse and my brother Frank, Mr. Legionary, share the same birthday. Who would have thought? One of my best friends and my brother share the same birthday. Oh, my goodness. Christian with a $200 super chat. My goodness. My brother has a Braves calendar. Christian, your brother's a smart fucking man, bro. And Jesus Christ, man. I love you, bro. I love you, man. Christian's a fucking beast, man. Everybody cheers in the chat with some beer emojis for Christian. And give me those guitar emojis because I'm getting the hell out of here. And I need that music on max. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, man. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with or without Jesse and his fucking tacos on AEW Dynamite and the post show right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later.